Podcasts are hot right now. How do I know? Well, you're listening to one right now, aren't you? But you might be wondering, how on earth do I get my voice out there and start my own podcast? It all seems so intimidating. Between hosting and platforms and monetization, it can get real complicated real quick. Well, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We started this podcast over 2 years ago, not knowing clue one on how to do it. So how do we do it? We did it with Anchor. Anchor is the free podcast app with creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. And Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on all the platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. And everybody likes money, right? Well, you can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. So go right now, download the free Anchor app, or go to Anchor FM to get started. It's the E-Commerce Minute, your daily dose of e-commerce, tech, and retail news with your hosts, Bart Mraz and John Suter. The E-Commerce Minute is a production of Sumo Heavy, a digital commerce consulting firm in Brooklyn, New York, and Philadelphia. Find us on the web at sumoheavy.com. This episode of the E-Commerce Minute is brought to you by Send Pro Online from Pitney Bowes. With Send Pro Online from Pitney Bowes, it's just click, send, and save for as low as $4.99 a month. Send envelopes, flats, and packages right from your desk, and you're back in business in no time. And for being a loyal E-Commerce Minute listener, you'll receive a free 30-day trial to get started and a free 10-pound scale to ensure that you'll never overpay. Save time and money on mailing and shipping with Send Pro Online. Starting at $4.99 a month, you can qualify for special USPS rates for letters and priority mail shipping. Calculate exact postage online, and print labels right from your PC. So go to pb.com/minute to access this special offer for a free 30-day trial plus a free 10-pound scale to get started. That's pb.com/minute. Experience shipping made simple with a free trial of Send Pro Online from Pitney Bowes. It's E-Commerce Minute episode 581.
In today's episode, Banksy gross domestic product store is now online.
There are many ways that people describe the infamous Banksy. Whether it be a vandal or a street artist, Banksy is an anonymous, English-based street artist, political activist, and film director who has been causing a ruckus since the 1990s. Now the anonymous icon is making waves in a different way. Banksy's merchandise is now up for sale on his new website, Gross Domestic Product. In classic Banksy fashion, the website is a little tricky to navigate. In an effort to make things more democratic and mostly to keep things off of eBay, curious buyers are asked to register their interest for specific items before they can actually purchase them. Through this system, applications are grouped by the item and time period they were submitted. According to the site, an independent third party will then randomly select a specific time frame for each item and only evaluate applications received during the selected time period. The tiebreaker submissions will be determined based on what the independent evaluator deems, quote, the most apt and original, unquote, with the number of applications selected corresponding to the stock of relevant items available for purchase. Products on sale range from as little as 10 pounds for an empty spray paint can to 850 pounds for the Union Jack stab-proof vest that British rapper Stormzy wore during his headline set at this year's Glastonbury Festival, as well as a non-functional clutch bag made from a brick. The products also have witty descriptions under them, like how the baby mobile is designed to, quote, prepare your little ones for the journey ahead, a lifetime of constant scrutiny, both state-sanctioned and self-imposed, unquote. Now, theater of the mind, the baby mobile is a mobile that hangs over your baby's crib that is all surveillance cameras.
I'm looking at it right now.
Right.
It's quite something.
Right. The online launch comes a few weeks after a physical Banksy store randomly appeared in Croydon, South London. But while the store was visually captivating, shoppers weren't actually allowed into the store. Instead, curious patrons had to look through the display window to see the pop-up, which was later described as just a showroom. Banksy then claimed he was forced to release the branded merchandise online following legal action from an unnamed greeting card company that was trying to, quote, seize legal custody, end quote, of his name. The website is live, and you can check that out at shop.grossdomesticproduct.com. Cool. So, do you guys know anything about Banksy? Do you guys know anything about street art?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like one of those names. It's like everybody kind of knows what it is, but they don't really know what it is.
And he's just not known. Nobody knows who he is.
They're like,
there are rumors to who he is. Okay, so the one rumor that he was the lead singer for the band Massive Attack. If you also look on, I was going to say WikiLeaks, but you don't want to go to WikiLeaks. You want to go to Wikipedia. According to WikiLeaks, he is a traitor to the... No. So the two rumors are he is Robert Del Naja aka 3D, the frontman of the trip hop band Massive Attack. Or he's Jamie Hewlett, English comic book artist and designer known for Tank Girl and the band Gorillaz. Both pretty legit credentials there, but again, no one knows who he is. No one's really seen the guy. It's pretty impressive in this day and age that someone of this global stature, given whether you're into it for the art, the politics, the films, or whatever, can still remain anonymous. So is Banksy a collective? Is Banksy a single person?
Right.
How is Banksy protected? How does this man continue to walk around anonymous, yet all of his social and political art is usually a commentary on surveillance and the police state? I think it's pretty ironic.
Or even better, what if it's a woman?
I don't think it's a woman. I don't think it's a woman.
Is there like proof against it being a woman?
No, it's
okay, so he started out as a graffiti artist, and I may or may not have been a graffiti artist when I was a teenager. That is not something a lot of girls do.
Yeah, it's a very
from there. That's just the thing that little immature boys do. They write on things.
And he's been around for a very long time, so it's kind of like just kind of given.
That would be the gag of the century, though.
It sure would.
That would be the gag. That's why I'm like, ooh.
Although
I'll be optimistic.
My favorite piece of art that he sold was that thing that shredded it.
That was painting. Cool. That was cool. And everyone was like,
"What is happening?"
Yeah. So no matter what you think about Banksy and his art, there's definitely an incredible level of creativity and wit and a lot of humor. I think the stuff is really great. The unfortunate thing of this, and I'm looking at this website, so okay, by the time of this recording, I guess a lot of the stuff has already been sold, but that's okay. It's still a pretty interesting concept. What has happened with street art and art, I guess art in general, is that there's a high level of people just ripping you off. It's really sad. I've had my artwork ripped off. I've had people steal artwork from me. I don't know what can be done about it. There are ways that you can copyright images and things. There is a new service out there. There's a service called Pixsy. You basically sync your images you can sync your images or your photographs or any other things that you want to protect to this service. And I think it fingerprints the image, and you can check and see if someone's stolen your image. And then you can submit a case for resolution, send a takedown, and really go after these leeches. But if you do a search for Banksy, there's so much rip-off Banksy art out there. I would love to know what he thinks about that. I'm sure he doesn't think it's a compliment. But I guess at that level of art, he really doesn't care. Right. So what we're really talking about is selling things online. So this was an interesting way to sell things online. There obviously you can buy and sell art online. That's been around since the internet itself. But what they did was they gamified this collection of art. Brittany, what did they do? They had this contest, and then they selected, but there's no real prices on here. So did these people? Was there prices on here before? Or?
Yeah, there were when I
there were prices. Okay, because I'm looking at the site now. Everything's out of stock because we're putting this after the fact. Yeah, but there's some interesting stuff on here.
It reminds me of the Ikea.
Yeah, event. Ikea did that thing last year, right? What was that?
Where they were like selling those rugs, and had to like really like the rug in order to buy it. We did a podcast on it. Yes,
episode 504. Ikea will sell you a rug, but only if you really love it. You had to, what was it? You had to write a love letter to Ikea to tell you how much you love the rug.
They literally tracked like your heart rates. Like you had to wear like a piece, and it would like track like how your body was literally like emotionally reacting.
Yeah, see, I love that. I love this kind of, it's I guess I don't know what you would call it, interactive commerce, or I mean, obviously everything in here, everything we're talking about is a marketing gimmick. So let's not get confused here. It's all about marketing. But yeah, I love that kind of stuff. Real creative marketing. But again, the art world is tough. There's so much counterfeiting and whatnot. But there was something that came across my radar last year. This company called Masterworks allows you to buy partial shares in art. You can buy you can invest in top tier blue chip investments with other people. So you could buy a Monet. You could give $100 and buy contribute toward the purchase of a Monet. Bart, what would you call that? Where it's group investing? What's the name for that?
I mean, it's not investing in stocks, but I mean,
it's partial. Yeah, but what the heck would you call it?
Crowdfunding.
Well, it's almost crowdfunding.
It is, but it's not in the same because you don't get the product.
Right.
So you don't get it.
You're investing in a property, physical property, right? So there's the other one with cars. They buy like old school cars.
Rally Road. We did a podcast on that as well. That was episode 251 back in ye old days. I am actually an investor in Rally Road. I own like 5 or 6 cars. I don't own the cars. I have like shares in a car. And once the car goes for sale, they basically set up an LLC for each car, and it becomes a piece of investment property. And for as little as $50, you can own a partial share in a classic car. And then whenever they feel it's time to sell the car, they'll say, "Okay, we're taking bids. Who wants to buy the 78 BMW?" And it's something that you paid $50 a share for could now be worth $75 a share. So it's pretty neat, and it's fun. It's fun. Masterworks is kind of the same thing. You can buy. They started out they did a Warhol, and then they did something else, which is really interesting if you're into art. I know that I couldn't even afford a knockoff Warhol from Ikea, let alone an actual Warhol. So stuff like this is really cool.
I just love how so many artists and brands are like really taking advantage of like dropping and exclusivity, and people have to have it because it's Banksy's line. Like, I have to have that brick purse because nobody else will have it and stuff like that. Like, so many people are starting to take so much advantage of how much people love to feel like they're individuals.
Well, the art world's kind of strange because there are people who are artists, and then there are people who wish they are artists, and then there are people who just like the art scene, and then there are people who like really appreciate art. Like there was that one documentary about that couple. All they did was collect art, and they lived in this little apartment in New York City, and they filled their apartment with artwork, and then they both got really old and decided to start selling their collection, and it turns out it was like hundreds of millions of dollars worth of art that they had stashed in this little New York apartment. Those are the people that truly love art. They spend their lives curating art. Then there are people who are just like, I have too much money and I'm just going to throw it around. And that's why now, if you look at the art world itself, it's giving better returns than the stock market, because something like a Banksy will sell for $2 million 1 year. 5 years later, it'll sell for $11 million. You can't get those kind of returns anywhere. No. And it's just
as long as he stays relevant, and it is like that, just that whole stock goes up, right?
Well, when artists make the most money when they die.
Well, they're not making. I mean, what was the latest? Like his what was the developed permanent painting sold for $12 million. He didn't get any of that. That was sold through a third party. Somebody owned it. That's not him selling it.
So he didn't sell that. He sold it to somebody else already, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So people like that's, if you think about it, that's where the whole market it looks like.
Right. Everybody thinks Banksy got $12 million for that painting, but he didn't. He got whatever he sold it for originally.
Right. I mean, Salvador Mundi sold for $450 million, but Da Vinci didn't get that money.
Right. Right.
Art is sold in that circle and stuff like that. And like, I like art, and like I love Bansky's because he's just it's that whole
it's humorous
thing. It's humorous. Right.
It's punk. It's very cool.
End of the day, it's just paint on something, right?
Yeah.
Well, Bart, I'll take offense to that, because people say to me, "Oh, can you do this for me? I'm sure you can do it real quick." And I say, "All right, I'll draw them something and say, okay, that'll be $300." It's why did it cost $300? Because it took me 30 years to learn how to draw that fast.
I never said that's not true. I'm just saying it's just paint. Like, it's the value.
So you're talking about just the physical thing of it. Yeah, it's just paint.
No. I'm not saying the value or what people perceive the value of it. It's just a physical.
Right. You're talking about the brass tacks of it's just paint on board or whatever.
$5 of paint.
Yeah. You can turn $5 worth of wood into gold, baby, if you got some talent and you got some Now,
unfortunately,
the
knowledge of getting to that point where you can do that is where it's.
Well, you have to have the talent. But I think the problem with art today is everything is about what kind of buzz you can create for yourself, and it's not so much. Do you know how many artists are just struggling in anonymity because they're too afraid to show their work, or they don't know how to get their work out there, or they're just like, I'm not good enough.
But that's said to all the artists, or let's take it to our world. It's said to even graphic designers or designers itself, right? Or developers. Like, think about how many developers are in there having these ideas in their head, but they're like, no, I can't put it out there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same, I think code is art, and it's definitely there. But it's, how do you put that out there? Like, it takes somebody to push it towards that.
Yeah. You just got to put it out there.
Allegedly, Banksy's estimated net worth is $50 million.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely is making plenty of it.
That's shmoney's.
Yep.
My net worth is $50.
Yay! I'm actually in the negatives right now because of my damn card.
Brittany and I both had our debit cards hacked literally on the same day. So thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
Brittany, why don't you tell us about today's sponsor?
Shipping and mailing from your desk has never been simpler than with SendPro Online from Pitney Bowes. With SendPro Online from Pitney Bowes, it's just click, send, and save for as low as $4.99 a month. Send envelopes, flats, and packages right from your desk and you're back to business in no time. And for being a loyal e-commerce minute listener, you'll receive a free 30-day trial to get started and a free 10-pound scale to ensure that you never overpay. So save time and money on mailing and shipping with SendPro Online. Starting at $4.99 a month, you can also qualify for special USPS rates for letters and priority mail shipping, calculate exact postage online, and print labels and stamps right from your PC. So go to pb.com/minute to access this special offer for a free 30-day trial plus a free 10-pound scale to get started. That's pb.com/minute. Experience shipping made simple with a free trial of SendPro Online from Pitney Bowes.
All right, we'll close up with some depressing stat time. The most expensive painting ever sold was in 2017. Leonardo da Vinci's Salvator Mundi sold for $450.3 million. Sotheby's New York just sold Claude Monet's 1890 painting Mules for a record-breaking $110.7 million. It was the most for an impressionist work. And just a few weeks ago, Banksy's Devolved Parliament painting was sold for $12,142,893, breaking his previous record multiple times. You guys got anything else?
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. So remember, if you're an artist, you only get rich when you die. That's your e-commerce minute for today. We'll see you on the internet tomorrow. How depressing. That's it for today's show. If you like the show, do us a favor and subscribe or leave us a review on iTunes. And don't forget, you can now listen to the e-commerce minute on your Amazon device. Just add e-commerce minute to your flash briefing. And finally, if you have a comment or suggestion or just want to say hi, find us on social media @Sumo Heavy.